fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kiru's show here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Midoriya and Celine. Now, these two, they have found a lead as to where the first werewolf might be buried, or simply resting. Now, they are currently heading to a man who will have information on this. And in the process, after they did leave the convent, something else did happen. At another convent, it was attacked, and Marcus was set free through the result of a Lycan invasion. Now, with that being said, we do then pick up with Midoriya, after Marcus did say hello and crush the phone. Midoriya confuses to who that man was, and he does ask Celine if she knows a man who sounds like that, along with the fact that he also did hear wind in the background. Now, Celine does just step on the pedal, talking about how he's free, and that this is going to be a difficult challenge. Now, Midoriya would tell her to slow down, and if they get pulled over by humans, then things are going to get a lot more complicated. Besides, we've got, a few hours a day? He can't find us then. Yes, you're right. Even still. If he gets his hands on Toga, that could become problematic. I know. Besides, this isn't going to be easy. Now, these two do both leave and continue on with their drive. Eventually, they do get to this place, and Celine, she does actually hop the fence and quickly make her way towards the door. Now, the sun went down exactly 3 hours ago, and if he's on their trail now, he's going to be here soon. This being whenever Midoriya, he actually would go to get out of the car. And the moment he does, he immediately gets attacked by a Lycan, as he would go to transform, him being able to push the Lycan up into the air before trying to get back onto his feet, then being tackled by another one and basically shoved down a hill. Now, Midoriya and the Lycan are both fighting, Midoriya actually being able to throw his hand straight upwards and into the Lycan's chest, grabbing away at a few important things before pulling his hand back out, as he does just stand there with the beating heart of a Lycan, dropping it to the ground as the other one does go to rush in. However, the moment it does, it actually does get pulled backwards by the collar covering its neck and the helmet around its face. Midoriya actually somewhat looking at that, and finding it almost funny, before just cocking back his fingers and jamming them into the Lycan's face. Now, Midoriya would then head down, and into a crevice in the floor, as he does begin to make his way down there, and encountering other Lycan. Now, we do then have Celine, who, after getting her way through the defenses, does begin to walk through the entire building, trying to find him. Now, you actually do then pick up with Tan, the bookkeeper, who he's currently keeping his eyes on a doorway And he does have two beautiful women accompanying him, all three of them holding up firearms. As Celine does walk around the corner and almost gets shot. Her then ducking back into cover as Tan would ask her why she's here. Tan, I have a few questions I would like to ask you. So ask me from there. You don't need to come into the room. Or have you finally been sent to kill me? It's not that. We have much to discuss. No, we don't. Well, maybe not with me, but with him you might have a lot to talk about. Him? Now, Tan's face does get covered in blood. As, within the span of a second, Midoriya, he killed the two women next to him and pulled their bodies backwards. Now, he does then turn around and see Midoriya. Him spinning around and shooting a bullet into his gut. Now, Midoriya would look down at this before just looking back up at him. Him saying the words, "Dear God," as Midoriya would just take the gun and crush it. Yes. Well, he has nothing to do with this. That is Izuku. What is he? Long story. Midoriya then reverting back. As the bullet, Midoriya would dig his finger into his gut and pull it out. Him watching it heal, almost instantaneously. Midoriya is saying that he's a bit he is a Corvinus, descendant of the third son. And he's here for information about his Uncle William. That's not possible. Well, great. If I say it all day, we're gonna be here all day. You know the whole thing. Now, I'm here for information. I want to know where he's being held, so I can kill him. Kill him. Why? Easy. My own freedom. End the war. And how are you too sure killing him will end the war? I'm not, but I'd like to take the precaution. I see. Well, him going to walk over and pull a book from the shelf. Him then setting it down as he does begin to start flipping through the pages, talking about how for most of history he's tried to keep these in the right order and keep things as easy as he can remember. So, here is what you do have. Him beginning the story about how William, whenever he first turned, he went ballistic. And then he started to feed, turning lichen, or people into lichen. And then with the introduction of more lichen, came more, and more. Eventually lichen began to start traveling in packs, just like the simple wolf animal. And one day, they went all over the globe, especially with the second generation. With them more easily able to blend into human society, they were able to travel more, and increase their numbers, especially since they can learn to transform without the use of a full moon. That's what makes them particularly dangerous. Now, Midoriya, he would actually stop on a page, and that's exactly what that is right there. Now, it does show a picture of Celine's necklace, and Celine actually would look at that, asking about the man who built this site that William might be housed at. Oh, that's simple. If I have it correct, his name was him saying a name and then Celine's last name, whenever she was still human. Celine saying that he's half right about that. Her father's actual name was this. Now, the man does actually just look at her, before she would pull out the key. Him looking at it and saying that so she already would know where the site is. That is perfect. Really? Yes, it would be. Now, this is when Midoriya, he actually would turn his head. And Celine would take notice to this, her going to load her weapon. As Midoriya does turn around and begin transforming. Now, Midoriya does take off running, as he does burst straight upwards through a window. And he does tackle his uncle. Now, Marcus was caught off guard. As he was about to fly through, Midoriya does actually just reach his hands through the window and grab him. The two going smashing into the ground as they do go rolling. Now, we do have Marcus who does actually sit atop Midoriya. Him going to try and stab his wings down into his face, Midoriya dodging both before just going to grab them and break both of them. And when he actually does do that, Marcus is going to try and stab his hand downwards into Midoriya's heart. Midoriya actually just shifting his weight and throwing his knees upwards into his uncle. Now, Marcus is sent flying upwards. As Midoriya, he actually does throw his body upwards himself and get back onto his feet, turning around as Marcus does rush him. Now, we do have Tan and Celine. Tan asking if she thinks that he can beat him. He doesn't have to beat him. I'll need to get the car ready, and then we can leave. He just needs to disable him for a while. Celine, I don't think that's optimal. Maybe, but even then, we will then stand a chance. Now, she does just grab this book and tell him to get out of here now, as she does go to leave. Now, we do cut back to outside, where Midoriya and Marcus are both fighting. Midoriya calling him an ugly motherfucker, because of the way he does look. And Marcus actually throwing him against a tree. Midoriya smashing through it, as he does go to try and get back up, his spine hurting. You're not much to look at yourself, hybrid. Maybe, but even then, Midoriya would say, as he actually does bring his hand up and press down his back, him actually letting out a grunting sound, talking about how he's stronger, and I've got more experience. Oh, do you? I've spent most of my life running from you. Now I'm one of you. Don't think I got nothing on you? Young man, I've been doing combat and performing battle since before your grandfather was even born. Maybe, I would say, keeping him talking long enough for his body to completely regenerate, before trying to blitz him in speed. Now, Marcus has actually dodged Midoriya, predicting it, a slash upwards, and trying to go for his chest, and then a slash up to the left, trying to go for his throat, and then a punch to the face. Now, Marcus is just dodging away at Midoriya, and memorizing his fighting pattern. As Midoriya, he actually does do one thing that catches Marcus off guard. Whenever he does go to throw a wild left hook, he does actually just bring it to the opposite direction. Him stopping his left hook slash before just bringing it backwards into the right. And then being able to dig his claws into his uncle's chest, before just bringing back his right hand and going to try and punch him in the face. As he does so, he does dish hinge his uncle's jaw. And Marcus does just try and throw a wing back at Midoriya. Now, the moment that actually does happen, Midoriya does go to grab it. And he does begin to fight against it, with one of his hands. His uncle just trying to put more body weight and more power into it. As he does actually just bring up his right hand and go to try and press it downwards. Now, this does just begin to start digging into Midoriya's shoulder. And Midoriya would begin to start screaming. as he actually just bring up his other hand and block the other one. Now, Marcus is taking this up as an opportunity, telling him that he will give him something quick. The hybrid, he is special, but he won't allow him to exist, as he does go to plunge his hand directly into Midoriya's chest. And he puts all of his fingers into Midoriya's heart, blasting a hole straight through his chest. Now, Midoriya actually just spit up blood, spitting it directly into his face. As Midoriya, he does try to sink his teeth into his uncle's neck. Now, Midoriya does feed, and Marcus does go to bring up his hand and try to pull Midoriya's head away. As you do have Celine, who does begin to start firing into Marcus's back. Now, Marcus does just toss Midoriya. The moment he does, you do see Midoriya with a gaping hole in his chest, as he does hit the ground. And you do then have Celine, her going to fight against Marcus as she's taken down swiftly. Him being able to overpower her, take her necklace, and get blood, learning the location. Now, after this, he does just knock her away, talking about how she can't stop him, and he will free William, as he would then leave. Now, she does then go running over to Izuku, as she does see him gasping for air, and trying to regenerate. Now, she is trying to think of a way to save Midoriya. Her quickly bring up her hand and slicing it with a blade, before just bring it up to Midoriya's wound. The entire hole in his chest is trying to heal. However, eventually Midoriya does just close his eyes, and he does die. Now, with that being said, Celine, she is angry, and she does vow vengeance against Marcus. She's going to kill William and Marcus, and make sure that Midoriya's sacrifice or his death isn't in vain. Now, this would be whenever the first immortal, his people, do arrive, and they do pick up Celine and Midoriya's body, as they do make their way back to the boat, where the old man does begin to start talking with Celine, and he does feel, well, guilty about Izuku, the descendant of his last son, dead. And for what? Just so his other two sons, the closest to his blood, run free? Marcus was already crazy. And William, with him unable to take human form again, he's going to lose it. They're going to have to start this incident all over again. Except this time now he's going to have to lock away both of his sons. Now, with that, this man does inform Celine that he will give her anything he can, and make sure that she's able to take on this threat. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.